The New York Mets have had a very eventful start to the 2022 campaign as they are leading the Atlanta Braves, the reigning World Series champions in the NL East, with a record of 31-17, and they are the second best team in the National League as of recording. It's been a big season so far for them, positives and negatives. I will try and take a look at both and see where the Mets land in this World Series picture for 2022. My name is Derek, and I'm here with Doug, and you're watching Why the New York Mets Will Be World Series Champions on Bleacher Brawls. So it's obviously been a very eventful season to the Mets, as I stated. 31-17 puts them 8 games ahead of the reigning champs and the Braves. It puts them 2.5 games behind the Dodgers with the second best record in the National League. Only 1 game ahead of Milwaukee. I'll throw it off to Doug. The Mets' performance this season,
Yeah, so why do I think the Mets will win the World Series this year? Because Jerry Seinfeld thinks that the Mets are going to win the World Series this year. Got this bobblehead at, Citi Field a couple years ago when I went. Pretty cool. Jerry Seinfeld thinks so. Huge Mets fan. So I think, yeah, they'll be World Series. All right. So why will they actually be World Series bound? Because they are, like Derek said, 31-17, 2.5 games back of Dodgers for the best record in the National League, 1 ahead of Milwaukee for third. Milwaukee's 1 game behind for third best record. The Mets are playing in what could easily be argued as the worst division in baseball. Easily the worst division in the National League. The American League Central could be argued. They only have 1 team above 500, which is the Twins. The White Sox are at 500. The Mets, 31-17, 14 games above 500. And the Braves in second place, 2 games below 500, right? But we all know that what the Braves can do. They did it last year. They were dead in the water in the middle of the season. They came back. The Mets have, they've been playing so good without their 3 best guys, without their 3-headed horse at the opening of the rotation. DeGrom, Scherzer, McGill, all on the disabled list. I don't think a single one of them has a set timetable to return. If they do, it's
later in the year.
Yeah, down the road. So they've been pitching with Bassett, Carrasco, and Walker as their 3 best in the rotation. So which makes that Bassett trade look real good. And but they're killing it on the offensive side. So I'll throw it back to Derek for his thoughts.
Yeah, I'll focus on the offense real quick here. You can just look at up and down the line. You look at the guys. Start the outfielders. You have Brandon Nimmo, Starling Marte, Mark Canha, and Dom Smith when he plays the outfield. And you also have Travis Jankowski, who is a backup bench player, but he's still important for them. Look at the infield. You have Pete Alonso, Eddie Escobar, who I'm huge on, Jeff McNeil, J.D. Davis, Luis Guillorme, and Frankie Lindor. That's very solid. The catcher spot, James McCann right now is injured, I think. He's definitely not. He's not active right now. I know that. So the catcher spot as of right now isn't really much right now. Hopefully McCann for them. Hopefully for them, that McCann can come back and pitch and play and beat and do well, especially as an offense first catcher. But you look at their pitching staff. It's the main thing here is the injuries. DeGrom and Scherzer. I actually think McGill actually isn't that massive an injury. He has a 4.41 ERA. I actually think it would be way more valuable. I think it's way more valuable to have Bassett than McGill. By far, I think it's way more valuable to have Bassett. But here's the thing. You got to look at this too. If the Mets get to the playoffs with healthy, and by healthy, just their rotation's healthy, here's what they're throwing out in a wild card series if they have to play in a wild card series. Game 1, DeGrom. Game 2, Scherzer. Game 3, Bassett. Good luck beating that. Good luck. Just good luck. And here's the thing that makes it even scarier. You got 4 starters in every other series. Well, guess what? The Mets have more than enough ammunition to go out and get a guy like Luis Castillo. Get a guy, maybe they go a little bit cheaper for Molly. But there's going to be other names that pop up that could be available depending on who's selling. And the Mets have the prospect capital to trade. They have Francisco Alvarez, who's number 7 prospect in baseball at the catcher position. That's huge. He's a massive trade piece. Brett Beatty, he's another big trade piece. He's probably their He's their second ranked prospect. He's, I think, 23rd ranked. Ronnie Mauricio is a top 100 prospect. He's their third ranked prospect, and Mark Vanto is just outside the top 100, but he's their fourth ranked prospect. All four of those guys, probably not Alvarez unless it's a total blockbuster, but the other three could definitely be involved in trades, especially Vientos and Mauricio, since they're both blocked. They're both somewhat, at least definitely Mauricio is definitely blocked with Lindor there. So the Mets have more than enough pieces to make moves at the deadline, and that's what makes them even scarier than what they seem right now, because they go out and get a Luis Castillo or get this guy, get that guy, whoever it is. They bring in a legitimate fourth, like, did I say legitimate fourth starter? But I mean, like, a guy who's number two, arguably in borderline number one. If the Red Sox are bad, and maybe Nathan Eovaldi's available. As a fourth starter, Nathan Eovaldi's ridiculous. Luis Castillo as your fourth starter, maybe third and Bassett fourth, but that's ridiculous. Anyone else, the Mets would have the best postseason rotation in baseball, and it wouldn't even be close.
Yeah, the key is to get those other three healthy first.
Yeah.
Right. That's if they could get healthy, right? I don't think there's a doubt in my mind that the Mets, barring some historic collapse right now, they have, they're going to win that division, right?
Yeah.
Barring a huge collapse or an incredible run by the Braves, which could be possible, but you got to think, like, some teams don't know their buyers until the beginning of July, right? Like, this team is a buyer right now, so they can go out and fix the rotation. They could fix, and like Derek was saying, fix it. Go out and get someone that's going to fill in until DeGrom and Scherzer get healthy, and then they're just it's gonna be overkill in the postseason, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to pitch anyone on short rest. Like, normally there's usually a scenario or two that you might, but you don't have to worry about rushing Scherzer back, rushing DeGrom back, right? You could take your time if you're going to win the division.
Yep.
So, as long as the offense keeps going while their pitching is subpar, right? I would say average, right now, with everyone on the shelf, they hit, they easily win the division.
Yeah, and also too, I think Luis Castillo is the biggest target left available on the starting pitching market. The Mets get him. Remember, he's not a free agent after this year. So next year, the Mets would have Scherzer, Castillo, and Bassett, even if DeGrom doesn't come back.
Yeah,
So
you got a replacement for DeGrom. Yeah.
But and then if he does come back, you have another year of those four. That's how ridiculous the Mets rotation could be if they make a deal for a guy like Luis Castillo. And their rotation right now, they're 12th in starter ERA, they're 12th in bullpen ERA. They could obviously use another kind of later inning guy in that bullpen, especially with Edwin Diaz being very good in the back end as a closer. If they can get a legitimate eighth inning guy, that'd go miles. Because all their starters can go 7 innings. So when they're on, DeGrom can go 7, boom, 8, 9, done. That's a win. Scherzer goes 7, 8, 9, boom, that's a win. It's that easy for them.
Yeah. You see, Red Sox, this is why you need a good 9th inning guy that you can trust to pitch in the 9th. You get a closer, and all your worries go away. You can roll like the Mets with a shitty I keep on saying shitty, but I mean shitty compared to what it could be if everyone was healthy. So that's what I mean by shitty in this context, right? But they spent a buttload of money on people. Don't get me wrong. They did. There are some huge spenders this offseason. And when those three guys, like, one after another, just went on the shelf, it's like, you got to be thinking, damn, like, we're done, right? But they have the second best record in the National League. So you got to be feeling good about yourself if you're the Mets right now. And I would go for it. I would. You're already blown past the luxury tax, right? What does it matter? What does it matter?
Exactly. And all their prospects are blocked with the exception of Francisco Alvarez, because they went so big in the offseason. Their lineup pretty much doesn't have a hole. I think they're third in weighted runs created plus as a team. Their lineup really doesn't have any holes if everyone's healthy. And they really have 10 guys instead of 9 that can hit in that lineup. So you're not getting any of their top prospects. They're not, especially their all position players. But they're not going to get in. Beatty's not coming up. Mauricio's not coming up. Vientos, they're not coming up because they're just all blocked because these guys you signed for 2-3 years. But that's also trade bait the Mets can use. And that's what's so crazy about it is they can buy in the winter because Steve Cohen's giving them a ridiculous amount of money, and they can buy at the deadline because they have these top sort of prospects in there. It's not a super deep system, but the top level guys to make trades are there, and they can make blockbuster trades with these guys because they're not just like middle of the road prospects. You have 3 top 100 guys. One of them is the number 7 guy in baseball, and they make a move with Alvarez. They could legitimately pull off a move, and everyone in the baseball world jaws are going to drop, and they're going to go, "What the heck did Steve Cohen just do?" Because he will pull it because he wants to win. He doesn't care about the future. He wants to win right now, and he's willing to. And I guarantee he'd be willing to flip these prospects for guys to make a push. Considering a guy like DeGrom's is going to be a free agent after this year, and DeGrom can leave if he wants to. So you might not get any more chances after this year with DeGrom because he might be gone. So don't expect the Mets to be full-on buyers at the deadline, the biggest buyers at the deadline, and don't be surprised if they make a trade that shakes up the deadline.
Yeah. So I think we're both in agreement that the Mets have the team and resources, have the players and resources to win the World Series, right?
Yeah.
So let's turn it around. I want to know right now one reason why they won't. What's going to hold them back from
injuries? Injuries and catcher
Okay.
play. Because James McCann's injured right now, and he struggled when he was healthy. And so it's pretty much injuries, and then their catchers are only really weak spot in their lineup right now. But like I said, Wilson Contreras is available. They could trade for him because they have more than enough guys to go and get him. They could trade for Castillo and trade for Wilson Contreras. Like, they have the resources to do it. It's ridiculous. And we know they're going to go all in. If the Scherzer signing wasn't a statement that they were going to go all in, all the other signings plus trading for Bassett should have been more than a sign that they're going to go all in.
Yeah. So my thing is, I'm wondering if they're playing at the level they are right now is because, they're playing in the worst division in baseball. So is it the Mets beating shitty teams? I don't know the number of how many NL East, how many times they've played NL East opponents as opposed to good teams, but generally you play the teams in your division more often. So if they're just beating up on sub 500 teams, then how are they going to fare against the the better teams? So if you know that number and you're watching this video right now, shout it out. Let me know. I didn't do that research before this video.
Yeah.
But we want to have interaction with our fans, so please let us know.
Yeah, June's going to be a big test month for them. Their first full series in June is the Dodgers, then it's the Padres and the Angels, all 3 of them on the road. Then they get Milwaukee and Miami at home, and Miami can be a sneaky team, especially they have good pitching. Then you get 2 games in Houston, then you go to Miami, and then you get another 2-game series with Houston. That one is at home. Right, June is a true test month for the Mets, especially with the injuries.
Yeah, so they're playing hardball all in June then. The only easy spot is the
Marlins, but but the Marlins can be a sneaky team.
Yeah.
They can sneak
up on them. They run into Pablo Lopez, I think that's his name, right?
Or Alcantara, both of them.
And Sandy. So so that's going to be a huge now I'd really like to see who they've been playing, if they've played anyone good, because
a lot of NL East and a little bit of NL West, but mostly NL East.
So they've played all pretty much easy people, and now they're playing division leaders, double-digit games above 500, teams, and
then you get a bogey team in the Marlins.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh. Yeah, it's gonna be a big month for the Mets. If the Mets come out of this still in the division lead, even if it's only by a game, they're legit because they're gonna still have all these injuries to their pitchers this month. Scherzer and DeGrom aren't coming back in June. They're not. So One of them might come back at the very end of June. That's still a very early timetable for both of them. So they're not coming back in June, most likely. So the Mets are still leading this division after June. Yeah, the whole league's gonna be on notice because then you only have a month till the trade deadline, and holy smokes, are they gonna buy? They are going to buy like they might buy like you've never like none of us have ever seen before. It might be literally ridiculous, and it wouldn't surprise me considering who their owner is. Any final thoughts on this Mets team, Doug?
No, I think we just about covered it.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. This is why the New York Mets will win the World Series this year. I think we both feel pretty confident that if they're healthy, they have more than all the tools and they need. They have more than enough tools to do it. So I think that's the main thing for them. Health. Can they stay healthy? Because they're going to make moves at the deadline. They just would make way too much sense to not. It would make way too much sense. It makes too much sense to make moves that would be dumb if they didn't. So it's, big. It's going to be a big summer for Mets fans. And that, hey, I know the Yankees fans are happy, but this Mets team might be the best team in New York. So the Yankees might need to watch. Don't sit too high up on your perch because the Mets are coming, and when they're healthy, they might be a better team on paper than the Yankees.
I do have a final thought. My final thought is that you should go out right now, take out your phones, go on Twitter, go on Instagram. You're already here on the YouTube channel. Find us on Facebook. Check out our podcast. Search Bleacher Brawls. Look for our ball head guy logo.
Our website,
bleacherbrawls.com. You find us everywhere. You like us, you follow, you tell us what videos you want to see, what content you want put out. We're putting out Red Sox lineups every day. We're putting out standings every week. Check that out. Let us know if there's something else you want to see. And you know what? We'll probably do it. Because we're Bleacher Brawls.
Exactly. And make sure also too, stay posted on Twitter for when we do Twitter spaces. If you want to talk to us in person live, that is the time to do it. Make sure to tell all your family, your friends, your coworkers, random people you pass on the street about Bleacher Balls. Tell everyone. We're growing here. We're putting out a ridiculous amount of content for you guys. So make sure to tell everyone you know. Make sure to check out all the links. All the links will be in the description. So make sure, and the whole crew's link, Twitters will be in the description as well. And everything else that we said will be in the description. So just check that out. Subscribe, like, share, comment, hit the notification bell so you know when we post. We're right now doing like 10 videos a week here on YouTube. We got multiple podcast episodes a week. So just ridiculous amount of content. And we got some blogs on the website. So check those out because there's just a ridiculous amount of content. My name is Derek and I'm here with Doug. You watch why the Mets will win the World Series this year on Bleacher Brawls, and we'll see you next time.